Stories of Great Christians. From the Department of Broadcasting of the Moody Bible Institute, we bring you Chapter 6 of A Spectacle in On Way, the story of John and Betty Stam, martyred missionaries to China. October 15, 1933. John Stam was en route from Santing to Shinan, where wedding plans were being made at the home of Dr. and Mrs. Scott, Betty's parents. The trip by steamer gave him his first vacation after a year of steady grind at the language. But no day of work or rest was complete for John unless he got a chance to talk to someone about his soul. On this day, his diary records, is having a talk with 2 British naval officers on board the steamer.
Good morning, officers. I hope neither one of you is supposed to be piloting this thing.
We thought you were. Our job this trip is just to sit and relax. This will be our last chance to do that for a while.
Oh, don't let my friend here fool you. Why, he'd rather be commanding than relaxing. He's been board stripped the whole last week.
Just finish a leave?
Yes, but there was really nowhere to leave to. Inland China, I've discovered, is even duller than the coast. Tell me, Mr.
Stam, John Stam.
Oh, yes, Stam. Are we missing anything out there now? All I can see are miles and miles of flat wheat fields.
That's about all you'll see until you reach Shinan. Perhaps the most interesting thing you could do with the rest of your leave would be to read a good book.
I dare say it would. I didn't bring any along, though.
Here, I have one with me.
Oh, well, thank you. Why, this is a Bible, isn't it?
Only half a Bible, the New Testament. It's all I have on me in English.
Oh, you're a missionary, aren't you?
Yes.
Save your preaching for the Chinese, Rev. Tell them to show more love toward all of us foreign devils, as it were. Here.
No, I gave it to you. Keep it.
What am I supposed to do with it?
A second ago, you were going to read it.
What makes you so sure we need Christianizing? I trust not because we're British.
A minute ago, I wasn't sure at all, but I can assure you there's no discrimination involved. I approach a Chinese with a Bible in exactly the same way.
As a foreign devil, the captain demands special treatment.
Oh, actually, the thing gets my goat about you religious chaps is that you try to get away with things here that you wouldn't dare try at home.
Oh?
You don't see anyone stopping people on the streets of London to give them a Bible.
Well, unfortunately, many at home take Christianity as a great personal secret and forgets the Lord's warning. Remember, whosoever shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. So the few who really believe that can't possibly cover the work so many others should be doing. Now, I can assure you, though, Captain, that if I ever run into you on the streets of London, I'll be just as open and concerned about your soul there as I am here.
Well, perhaps I didn't really mean I objected to your openness. Actually, it's your subtlety.
His subtlety?
Yes, the way he tried to trick me into reading the Bible, it's as if it were an exciting novel or something.
I hardly meant to compare the Bible with an exciting novel, merely because it contains the accounts of the best-selling love stories of all time, Samson and Delilah, David and Bathsheba, a story filled with political intrigue, murder, love, and all set against a background of international warfare. Well, I'd need to get the rest of the book from my cabin anyway. But when I think of the military strategists from every age who have been so influenced by the countless battle maneuvers this one book records, now when I think of the wealth of uncontradicted history it contains, and even fulfilled prophecy, well, a book's got to have something when it stays on top of the world's best-selling list for nearly 2,000 years.
Oh, I guess so.
Of course, well, you've got the chance to just sit there and relax, enjoying the view of those flat gray fields, mile after mile, hour after hour. Why, look, it's only 8:30 in the morning. You still got the entire day to look forward to that same view.
If you have no desire to read, Captain, I'd just soon take the book off your hands.
Not so fast. He gave the book to me. What's this American going to think of British manners if I don't at least show him the courtesy of accepting the gift and reading a page or two?
Well, perhaps you'd like to read John's account of the event that began this era.
There it is. You've just passed it.
Well, I know where it is.
Now, you have to understand the background. The Roman Empire is in control of the entire known world. The Jews of Palestine have been expecting a savior, a king to lead them out of their captivity for hundreds of years. Okay, here. But they aren't ready to accept the surprise they've got coming. Something bigger than that.
Although John does not write of a decision being reached by either officer that day, he does say that the officers took the New Testament with them when he parted their company. John had learned to take many different roles in leading men to Christ, according to the stage of each man's heart, and he was as grateful for a chance to plant a seed in one man's heart as he was to help another heart finally give itself to Christ. John rejoined Betty after a year's separation, and they were able to have some quiet days together before the rest of the bridal party arrived. Betty wrote her brother in Africa of John's first impression on her parents.
It's good that John has a real sense of humor. He's such an easy person to get along with. You should hear Mother rave about him. Even if I hadn't wanted him, Mother would have stuck to him through thick and thin and given me no peace until I gave in. She just took to him from the very first. Daddy doesn't say so much, but he feels pretty good about it, too. They're making plans for the wedding at a great rate, and Daddy seems to be thinking about all the details.
Your parents' home is beautiful. All the flowers, the ivy, the trees. Especially in the fall, it's like an oasis.
Well, the rest of Shinan isn't exactly a desert.
No, not exactly.
Oh, I suppose I'm glad we've been assigned to Southern on way, too. Well, let's sit down on the grass.
All right. Now, I bet you're anxious to tell me all about the plans.
Oh, I am.
I volunteer for whatever work I can do.
Well, the most important thing you can do is to pray it doesn't rain on the morning of October 25th.
I just spent a whole summer praying it would rain. But aren't we getting married in the compound church?
We're getting married on our tennis court.
Oh, you're kidding. Well, I know your family's always been very sports-minded, but
John, it'll be beautiful.
Oh, what'll we do when Pastor Torrey pronounces us man and wife? Jump over the net and shake hands?
Have you seen the court yet?
No.
Well, on 3 sides it's lined with trees, and the south wall's a solid mass of ivy. The leaves are all turning red and gold. We'll bring the long benches from the church to form a wide aisle down the center. Our best rugs will cover the open space at the south end and down the aisle.
You know, it does sound kind of pretty.
Of course. And the open space will be banked in with palms and ferns and all kinds of flowering plants.
I like it. You've convinced me.
If I didn't, Daddy would.
It didn't rain on October 25th, nor was there any wind or dust, and the temperature was warmer than it had been for several days. Many Chinese friends were given their first look at a Christian wedding.
Congratulations, John.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Ling.
You too, Betty. It is good to witness union of 2 such devoted young lives. There was something very different about this ceremony.
You noticed it too, huh? Nobody threw rice at us. What, you'd think that in China, of all places,
I don't know where our rice-throwing tradition came from, John, but I really don't think it was from China.
The difference I saw was in the bride.
I'll go along with that.
In Chinese wedding, the bride never look up into face of bridegroom. Keep her head bowed, almost as if in sorrow, not joy, fear, not trust. I learned that Christian marriage begins with a smile, not a frown.
Well, Mr. Ling, I've witnessed many Chinese weddings, and I can't say they really frown.
They sure not smile.
John and Betty spent their honeymoon in Qingdao, the home of Betty's childhood by the sea. An architect friend of Dr. Scott's took them to his cottage in the mountains, where the newlyweds were surrounded by great rocky peaks, waterfalls, and crystal-clear pools wherever they walked. As John wrote,
It was so deserted that we could sing and yodel freely as we went along. Truly, our God seems to go out of his way to make his children happy.
but the happiness was just beginning. For as John and Betty settled back down in Santin for a winter of work and more language study, their married life seemed to get better every day.
Mr. Stam! Mr. Stam! Welcome back. You said you'd come back, and you did. The others said you wouldn't.
Well, I hope I haven't disappointed them. Betty, this is Wong, my star pupil.
Ah, this is the woman you left us for?
Oh, be careful. She knows the language better than I do.
I'm glad to meet you, Wong.
I hope you are well, Mrs. Stam. Oh, wait till you see what we have for you in the house. It's a surprise. Mr. and Mrs. Birch want you to try them on as soon as you come in.
Let's see. A set of books.
I'm not telling.
I don't suppose it could be clothes.
How did you know?
American women are all a little clairvoyant, Wong. They call it women's intuition.
Well, now you'll dress right. You won't look so foreign.
Chinese clothes?
Mr. Song, the tailor, made them.
Oh, I can't wait to see you in skirts, John.
I can wait.
You better try them on right away or Mr. Song's feelings will be hurt.
Well, honey, here we are. Oh, here.
Hey, what's the matter? She's too tired to walk the last few steps?
It's an old American custom, Wong. You carry your wife over the threshold of your first home.
Ah, that's to show her who is boss. She's going in whether she likes it or not.
Oh, is that how this custom started?
No, I don't think so. I thought I was just being gallant.
I think so, too.
You Americans are too superstitious.
John and Betty fell immediately into an ambitious routine of teaching Bible classes, visiting homes, and distributing tracts every day, while spending most of the evenings in language study. Betty was still John's senior in handling the Mandarin language, and they spent many hours sitting across a small table from one another with open textbooks, quizzing each other, or just studying in silence.
What are you thinking?
Thinking?
Yes, that's the first time I saw you look up from that book for the last 2 hours.
Oh, I was just thinking. Eat, sing, su, sung, su. Just conjugating.
And I thought maybe you were thinking of me.
Oh, well, I am now.
I've never seen anybody with your concentration. How soon do you think you'll be ready to take exams?
Maybe 2 months. Then I'll be all through, at least officially. You know what they say, Mandarin is a language you never stop learning.
How do you like Shanteen so far?
Oh, I love it. Mr. and Mrs. Birch are so easy to get along with, and I'm surprised there are so many Christians here who are so active in evangelism.
These people really know what it is to commit their lives to Christ.
No wonder the work is expanding so quickly.
Oh, that reminds me, I talked with Mr. Powell today, and he'd like to show me some towns just 10 miles from here where the people have hardly heard of Christianity.
Could I come along?
I was just going to ask if you wanted to.
How soon were you thinking of going?
Well, if we did it this week, we'd have to leave almost right away if we were going to get back in time to take care of our responsibilities here on Sunday. We'd have to leave tomorrow. We need as much time as possible to visit homes.
Does Mr. Powell have friends out there? I mean, does he know places where we can stay overnight? How will we eat?
Well, I was planning to pack a little food. I don't think Mr. Powell really knows anyone out there. He just knows the towns. But I'm sure the Lord will provide whatever we can.
Oh, I'm sure glad you have all that faith. If you didn't, we wouldn't be together right now.
Oh?
Well, you never would have tried to get through 3 years at Moody while doing stenographic work for 50 cents an hour. So you never would have been accepted by the CIM. So you would never have come to China. So you would never have married me.
You know, I've thought of that before, too. Faith, the way I look at it, is our only sure access to the Lord's plans.
And so we conclude Chapter 6 of A Spectacle in On Way by Fred Heron. This is another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, produced by the Department of Broadcasting of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.